You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Have you ever washed someone else's hair before? Like your kids, maybe?
I was going to say, yeah, I definitely, the kids and maybe one time my wife, probably not. Probably just the kids.
So yesterday, Courtney was at work till 10:30, and then she called me to come pick her up at the salon. And she's like, "Can you come inside? I need you to rinse my hair." And it was I don't know why. It felt so weird. I had to rinse out her hair.
She doing a color?
And then, I was supposed to I don't know. Washing someone else's hair is such a weird feeling, dude.
I love, because again, this is a podcast.
No one can see what I'm doing.
You can't see Brock's fingers, but they're so awkward. And it's funny because I've read things and heard things about how washing your partner's hair can be a very sensual, very strengthening relationship thing, right? Because it is such an intimate and vulnerable position that you're putting in. But to see your hands going like Ricky Bobby.
I didn't know what to do. And then, if you've ever been to a salon and you got to sit in the tank or whatever, she kept getting mad at me because I kept splashing water in her face. And I'm like, listen, I'm not the professional here.
Rookie moves over here.
I don't know what you want me to
do. You had a chance for a really, romantic moment with your significant other, and you waterboarded her.
Is that really romantic, though? What am I supposed to do? Lean in and be oh, let me just wipe the conditioner out from your eyes.
I think it's more the idea of the scalp massage.
Am I supposed to seductively squirt the shampoo into my hands as I do it?
You could. Some people pay for that sort of thing.
I will say when I go and she cuts my hair, she'll wash my hair. It is really nice when someone else is washing your hair.
That's what I'm saying. You get this really elaborate, sensual kind of treatment when she washes your hair, and you just thumb jabbed her in the skull and poured water in her face.
Yeah, what am I just supposed to finger her hair? I've never been good at that since high school.
It's a scalp massage, man.
I don't know what I'm doing. There's not a certain spot that I'm supposed to figure out.
There's probably videos you could watch on this.
Basically waterboarding her by the end of it. Which I'm sure to some people that might be just as kinky.
That is also appealing, but for a much smaller section of the public.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Would you like to go halvesies on a Red Lobster with me? Not an order of Red Lobster. A location.
I do not have that kind of money.
Well, okay, but listen, maybe it's not that expensive. They haven't released prices, but the Ontario Superior Court has given the okay to Red Lobster Canada to start working towards selling stuff.
Oh, because the whole bankruptcy thing.
That's right. So the American Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy. They're in Chapter 11, all that stuff down in the States. Obviously, the Canadian version falls under the umbrella, but they're not in as much trouble as the American ones. But they now have the go-ahead, if they need to start selling off things like property, things like equipment, or even things like locations.
Can you just go into a Red Lobster and buy all the tacky stuff off the walls?
That would be amazing.
Can I get a boat steering wheel? Is that a thing?
A big ship's wheel up on the wall in your house?
Yeah.
Put it above the bed. Courtney will love it. I don't know if they're selling off, I don't know that Red Lobster is about to do a yard sale just yet. But I do love the idea of owning a Red Lobster. No, I would like to be the silent partner in a Red Lobster.
I don't know, man. They seem like they're not doing too well.
Well, but that's just it. If I own a location, I can put an end to endless shrimp at our location. That's out the window. We're not doing that.
If we owned a Red Lobster together, we'd have to host lobster fights.
100%.
That
would be fantastic.
That's what I'd want to do.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't want to get into the business end of things because I don't know what I'm doing.
Take the rubber bands off the claws.
Let them go.
And then you have to reach in the tank and pick out your own and figure it out.
I do like the idea of letting the lobsters defend themselves.
It's I'm thinking of it as one of those restaurants where they give you venison and you cook it yourself.
Oh yeah, like a hot pot right on the table.
Yeah, you have to cook your own. Actually, I don't know if people will be coming back for that after they hear the screams.
True.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of just one salty, grizzled old lobster in the back corner of the tank, though. He's pinched about a half dozen kids. You don't want this.
Yeah, he's he's earning his right to live.
He's a survivor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like that.
I just want to be able to walk into a Red Lobster and just be like, biscuits, let's go, at any point in time, which I assume is a benefit only held by owners of a Red Lobster location. You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like if you're going to get into any franchise, I think we need to revive Pizza Hut and bring back the Pizza Hut buffet.
I'll tell you right now.
That's the move.
I don't know why Pizza Hut decided to go away from even just sit-down restaurants, but the buffet specifically. But a Pizza Hut buffet would be worth traveling for.
Society was so much better when we had the Pizza Hut buffet. What was it, like $13? You go in there,
right. Fill your boots, eat all the pizza and breadsticks, some salad, and then you get the dessert pizza afterwards.
And I feel like, no disrespect to your Red Lobster idea, but if you go into the pizza game, I mean, everybody always wants pizza.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh, if you open up a Pizza Hut buffet, brother, people would drive. I'm guessing upwards of an hour if you're the only buffet in the area.
Yeah,
I would. I know I would take that trip. Absolutely you would. Even if you could show me the numbers on no, we can't bring back the buffet. It's really bad for business. We lost a lot of money on that. Fair enough. But as the owner, once a week, I want the buffet, even if it's just for myself. I just want to be able to walk in and the people that I've employed in the kitchen just whip me up a small buffet for me and my friends.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's a Pizza Hut buffet or a Denny's is the move if you wanted to make money, I think.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Those are two, pizza and then breakfast is things that people always want. And drunk people love Denny's. I mean, the only thing is I guess you have to put up with drunk people.
Well, no, you're the owner. You have to hire people to put up with
drunk people.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Can you imagine with the housing right now, turning a Red Lobster into an actual house?
Now, how much of it do you keep? Are you gutting all the booths and the tables, but keeping the decor? Do you keep, a handful of tables as your dining area?
Put the tables together. Make one big table. You put a shower in the bathrooms. Keep the bar.
I like the way you think, dude. Kind of turn it into one, Last Supper kind of table.
Yeah.
Well, haven't you seen some of the odd or different homes, like somebody turns a barn into a home or a church into a home?
You know
Imagine
what?
a Red Lobster as a house.
We were talking about Pizza Hut a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I see that actually online all the time. People turn Pizza Huts into houses.
Yeah. So imagine a Red Lobster, something that looks like right out of the Cape.
That's a great idea.
You'd have all the fish tanks and all that stuff. It would be really cool.
And you get all the tacky stuff on the wall.
100%.
Yeah.
You'd never have to decorate. You are already pre-decorated.
Yeah.
Although I do love the idea of turning a Pizza Hut into a pizza home. They're so recognizable with that, the weird roof shape.
There's a website, what's it called? Used to be a Pizza Hut.
Oh.
And people find places that used to be a Pizza Hut and been converted into houses and offices and all that other stuff.
Dude, I have lamented how McDonald's have gotten so much more corporate. They used to be fun-looking buildings, and now they're all just square boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
But imagine finding an old McDonald's with a play place and turning it into a home.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Just any of your buddies that got kids or my kids, hey, Dad's trying to watch the hockey game. Go to the play place for half an hour.
Finding an old strip club and converting that into your house.
Oh. I don't know if there's enough bleach, brother.
The back room becomes your master bedroom or something.
Oh, it would be pretty sick, though, when you wake up in the morning to come down the stage.
You're telling me, take away everything that's happened there, the kids would have so much fun in that place?
100%.
Running around.
So much space for activities, swinging around on poles, jumping up and down on the stages, putting on little plays. Kids love putting on little plays.
Yeah.
They don't need to know the horrors of what happened here.
Yeah. If you could somehow turn a strip club into a trampoline park at the same time.
Oh
my gosh, dude, that'd be amazing,
dude.
And then you still have it be a strip club but with trampolines.
Well, they used to be called jumpolines.
Yeah. And you call it bouncers. That's what you would call it, dude. You call it bouncers.
I think it's too on the nose.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You ever watched that show, The Masked Singer, before?
Oh, you know what? The only time I've really watched it was when there was that whole scandal that Rudy Giuliani was one of the people.
Right, yeah.
And it was just to watch Ken Jeong storm off the stage.
I've never actually really watched the show before, but for some reason on like Facebook, I keep getting these videos of the Masked Singer pop up.
They're massively viral. Like, say whatever you want about, like, oh, it's such a silly concept or whatever. The clips from that show get millions of views on social media and on YouTube. It's crazy.
I had this idea, though, because I keep seeing all these videos pop up. They need to start making spin-offs of that show. Like, I was thinking, like, you could do, like, I don't know, like the Masked stand-up. Have a bunch of celebrities do, like, stand-up comedy or something.
That would be good, because the whole point of the show is trying to figure out who's hiding. So if you disguise their voice and have them start doing their bits, it would be cool to see if you could figure out famous comedians based on the style of the joke.
And then they say, like, crass stuff, and you're like, no, wait, it's the Pope? Like, what?
Dude, the day I found out Bob Saget did the aristocrats joke, it opened the doors of my life.
I was thinking you could do, like, the masked chef, maybe even, like, a masked bachelor or something.
Do a dating show where they... Well, I guess that's just Love is Blind, isn't it?
I guess so.
Same idea, though.
It would be funnier if it was, like, one guy and he had 13 girls and they're all wearing these mascot outfits. Right. That actually might be a whole different dating show for a whole different demographic, I guess.
He's still out there looking good in a suit, and they're all dressed up as, like, frogs and wolves and
the furry bachelor. That's all that is, actually.
I'm telling you right now, also pulls massive ratings.
Oh, absolutely it does. Absolutely. And then I was thinking, I mean, election season, like, coming up down in the States. I mean, we've got an election next year.
Yeah.
What if all politicians had to go Masked Singer style when they're doing debates?
Dude.
Like, you've got, instead of having the Liberals and the Conservatives and the NDP and the Green Party and the Bloc Québécois, it's 5 of them up there.
But they're all in mascot outfits?
And you don't know who's who. So you're literally going off of, like, what they're saying.
Right.
Right?
And everything's digitally changed, like their voices and stuff like that. Although you would have to edit out some ums and ahs to sort of help hide.
I mean, there might be
certain
some
identities.
There might be some dead giveaways, right?
But it would be interesting because, like, the way that people are now, politics is very much a team sport. Right?
You already know what you're doing before you even watch the debate.
Right.
Yeah.
If you've got a party in mind, your guy can do no wrong and the rest can do no right. So to disguise who they are, it would actually force people to listen to what they have to say, to listen to their actual policies and platforms. It's a funny joke, but making everybody wear a Masked Singer style costume might actually make politics work again.
Dude, imagine a Trump and Biden mass debate.
But they're both dressed up as like a frog and a cat.
Yeah. How amazing would that be?
I can't get the picture out of my head. And then at the end, when they have to take off the big giant head to show who
there they are. There they are. I think that's the way we need to do politics from now on.
It's so silly, but here we are in 2024. It might actually be our best idea yet.
You go from hating a person to hating the squirrel. You know what I
mean? You know, I'm saying that squirrel had some interesting policies we might want to think about.
A vote for the crocodile is a vote in the right direction, in my opinion.
It's a vote for a strong future.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We all know John Daly, legendary golfer, right?
Absolutely.
Well, he was in an interview recently, and someone asked him, because he made a statement back in the day saying that if he could play every PGA tournament drunk, he would probably win. The guy asked him, he's like, do you still feel that way today? And here's what he said.
It's amazing. Where I would go, wherever I set course records or whatever, I would be barefooted, drunk, playing golf, making every 20-footer I looked at. I used to be able to shoot pool really good when I had a great buzz going. But if you get me sober and play pool, I wouldn't make a ball. I don't know. I'm not making an excuse to drink or anything because, but when I had a good buzz going, I thought I could make everything, play really good golf. And I think it's just because the body's so loose and it's like free, And
I think anyone that plays golf, there is a little bit of truth to that.
I get what he's saying, and you're right. It makes sense, but do you think the reason he was so bad at sober pool is because he had the detox shakes? Like, man drank so much that it almost feel like he went the other way.
Between alcohol and Diet Cokes alone,
right.
Like, yeah.
You're right, though, man. There's just something about, and everybody's obviously got like different tolerances, different limits and stuff like that, but everybody has that magic point where you've had just enough to drink that your body's like, I am at peak condition right now.
Well, and specifically with golf, I mean, I've heard people call it the old swing lube for a reason.
Oh.
You get to like this sweet spot. I mean, it's very easy to lose.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. To go over because now you're feeling good and you're like, well, let's have another one. And it's like, oh, that was one too many.
Yeah, you can slip in and out of that sweet spot golfing like real quick. You need to kind of like get in that zone. I call it like maintenance drinking.
Okay.
Where it's like maybe every 3 holes you have. Some people try and get carried away and they're like, I'm going to have a beer every single hole. No. I think you got to gap it out a little bit. Every 2-3 holes.
You got to test your system. You've got to learn where your sweet spot is. And then once you hit that, you have to wait until your body will give you kind of a sign of like, hey, we're declining a little bit. We're fading here. That's when you top it back up.
I like to think about having a beer at golf like the idea of the Looney Tunes having Michael Jordan's like secret water, whatever.
Michael's secret stuff that made him a good basketball player, except yours is a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes you, carefree, less serious. I mean, just in general, like drinking does that to you. I mean, how many people have more confidence talking to girls or guys at the bar?
Well,
right?
I was at the very beginning of all of this discussion, you said, what's something that you're better at when you've been drinking? And for me, this probably won't come as a surprise to anyone, especially not you. It's dominating a conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I get. When I get drinking, I just start talking.
Your usual sensors are completely gone.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I'm the most fascinating person in the room, and sometimes I am. But mostly, I do that thing we talked about where you have the one too many beers.
Yeah, I agree with what John Daly said as well about playing pool. I think that's another one where you get inside your own head, especially if you don't play regularly. Darts is kind of the same thing.
Darts is a big one for me. You know me, I've got the shakes just naturally. A couple beers will sort of dull that, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can throw straight now. What a twist.
Yeah. And then I already see people texting it in right now, just making love, honestly.
I feel like people think that they're better with that when they're drinking. I feel like if you ask someone in the sober light of day, they might get an answer they weren't prepared for.
I feel like most of us are more ready to run a marathon, if you know what I mean, than the 100-yard dash, at least.
Again, I feel like you think that, but I think it mostly ends with a, come on, you.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
A lot of people disagreed with my statement that alcohol helps you in the bedroom.
I just feel like that's one of those ones where you feel more confident. You feel like you're more in charge.
Yeah.
And from the sober outside point of view, other people might disagree. That's all.
Tanya texted in and says, with my husband, sometimes that marathon never stops and he passes out faster.
Well, I mean, they do call it whiskey you-know-what for a reason.
We had a lot of people texting in that dancing is something they do better when they're drinking, and I think maybe that is also another thing where it's like you think that you are, I guess. Yeah.
I don't think that alcohol makes anyone a better dancer, but I do think it 100% makes you care less what other people think of your dancing.
Yeah, the whole dance like nobody's watching thing gets in your head, yeah.
I mean, you know me, I'm not a dancing kind of guy. You get a handful of beers in me, and I'll move this caboose, you know?
We've got like 5 or 6 different people texting in about playing the drums, and I mean, like, I know we're not the most musically inclined dudes, but I feel like that goes with singing, too, because, I mean, any karaoke night, the liquid courage helps 10 times more.
And that's exactly it, right? Like, because having a shot of booze is not going to make you a better singer. It's not like if I coat my vocal cords in vodka, it's going to make me sound angelic.
Yeah.
But it is going to make me not nervous, not care as much, and then maybe because I'm confident I'm going for it, that makes you sound better.
They should have like a drunk version of American Idol.
Oh, you have to blow over a certain limit before you can compete?
Yeah.
Get a little breathalyzer test going?
So you think you can dance drunk edition?
I would watch that.
Yeah.
And the judges also have to be drinking. They have to at least be sipping throughout the night. But then I guess it would be a benefit if you were like last, right? Because the judges are going to be hammered by that point. Like, you're the best.
Take any game show and add drinking to it, and I think it'd be fun. Dude, Wipeout.
Wipeout would be great, although I will argue Jeopardy would not be as good if they were all drinking.
Be funny as hell.
It would be hilarious, but I think by Final Jeopardy, it's just sad.
Yeah.
I think we're all just like, oh.
Wheel of Fortune could get pretty interesting as well.
Watching the things that people would yell out when they're trying to solve the puzzle after they... I mean, we've already seen people... What was the right in the butt dude? That was in the news a few weeks ago. Imagine what he says out loud if he's had a few drinks to pull back the inhibitions.
Oh, yeah. That one's most definitely going to have a different rating for sure.
Oh, a Family Feud as well. Not only for the answers we would yell, but we would finally get rid of that stupid. Good answer. Good, because you're going to be like, Joe, you idiot.
You would genuinely see families get into like huge arguments on television.
Oh, man.
And that would be the real Family Feud, honestly.
Dude, at the beginning of the show, instead of Steve Harvey going and shaking everyone's hand, he goes to every podium and puts back a shot with them.
Yes.
He could handle 10 shots.
Yes.
He's the man. He'd be fine.
Absolutely. Like a Deal or No Deal, and every time they open a case, you have to take a drink.
Oh, yeah.
How stressful it would get by the end.
You got to cheers with the dealer before he makes you an offer.
Yeah. Your family's pleading. They're like, please stop. Stop.
Uncle Jeff just put back $750,000 because he was drunk.
762-555. What game show would be better if you added drinking to it? Honestly, Cash Cab, man. I'm surprised that there weren't more drunk people on Cash Cab.
Honestly,
do you think that was a requirement that they'd like check if you were sober before you got in?
I'm sure that there was at some point they were like, hey, man, this isn't going to work. I'm sure there were lots of drunk people. They probably just didn't make it to air.
They probably just didn't have the time to clean the puke out of the cab like every episode.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Well, it's official. Today is the first day of summer. So without further ado, I say, welcome back.
'Tis the season.
To summer.
Absolutely.
And as always, I think it's time to say welcome back to, tons of things that's going to happen this summer. I mean, like the fact that we all are going to say at least once to someone, oh, we got to get together this summer, to someone that you have no intentions on getting together with. Welcome back.
You're never going to see them.
No.
It's good if you just be honest about that. Mm-hmm. Also, welcome back to Shorts in the Winter Guy having 2 months of obscurity.
Welcome back. Welcome back to getting in your car and burning yourself on the leather interior. Welcome back.
On the same note, welcome back to inevitably burning yourself on something metal that's been out in the sun, like a park bench or something.
Or even just getting burnt in general and then telling people that I never burn.
Buddy, my little kid got himself a sunburn yesterday. Got in there before the first day of summer. Well done, buddy.
Welcome back to finding a tick and not being sure how long it's been on you and then persuading yourself that you're going to get Lyme disease. Welcome back.
Welcome back to having an excuse to eat ice cream every single hour of every single day.
Welcome back. I would like to say welcome back to that one fly that just lingers in the house and can't figure out even when you open up the window or the door for him. Welcome back.
Got in through a crack in the door this big, but you open a whole bay window. He can't find his way out? Come on.
Also, welcome back to everyone's kids just being everywhere.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Roaming the streets like dogs. Welcome back to always just being at least a little wet. Just somewhere.
Welcome back. Welcome back, swamp ass, honestly. Swoob, swass, whatever you want to call it.
Permadamp.
Yeah. Welcome back to hanging out with people only because they have pools and cottages. Welcome back. And if you have a pool or a cottage, think about it. There's people that only hit you up around this time of the year.
And if you don't have one of those people in your life, I volunteer. I will be your cottage friend. Keeping in mind, I don't have one, but if you do, we can hang out.
You need some help loading in the dock? I'll do that for one day if you let me use your place for the weekend.
100%. Let's go.
This is the same kind of thing that I was saying about the people that you don't hang out with on a regular basis.
We should get together sometime at your cabin.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We are just laughing at the Justin Timberlake situation, which... Maybe it's not too funny to laugh at a man who's had a DUI. DWI?
It's one or the other, and I'm not sure why they're different.
The photo is funny to me because he's got that look of like, it's like me when I come home drunk and Courtney's mad at me and I'm
Right.
like, oh.
Yeah, that's sort of like, I should not have done what I've done.
And then we also just found out that Justin Timberlake's world tour, which was apparently supposed to start tomorrow.
This man was 2 days away.
The tour was called the Forget Tomorrow World Tour.
He was trying to forget tomorrow for
Dude,
some reason.
that's so brutal.
It's such a, crazy coincidence. It's one of those things where, we hear that and we go, well, no, you start Googling. You're like, I need some confirmation.
I mean, most of us drink to forget today, but...
Well, JT's forgetting tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's
he's
fine.
he's remembering today or yesterday, whatever it was.
You know what's crazy, though? Is, Justin Timberlake is loaded.
Yeah.
He's beyond rich.
I mean, he was loaded for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. True. Also, very, very wealthy. Why do rich people keep drinking and driving?
That's true.
He's got so much money for hiring a cab, an Uber, a driver, a limo. There are a million ways to be rich and not drive yourself around. And yet he still took these poppers or whatever it was and had a bunch of booze and was like, yeah, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how far we get.
That is true. I mean, I feel like if I was rich enough, I wouldn't mind having someone just chauffeur me around.
That's just it. The only reason to drive is because you have to or you like to.
And also, when you're drunk and you get in an Uber and someone's driving you around, it feels fun.
Right.
You start flapping your how long you been doing this for?
So busy night tonight.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of
The
that
two
one.
things that Uber drivers do not want to hear.
But you're right. We get to live that almost the Uber is like the limo fantasy for the, average wealth person. It's
Sure.
I get to be driven around by my own driver from point A to point B and that's it. But then these people get millions of dollars and they're like, no, I think I can drive home. It's like, no, just use your money. What are you saving it for?
Yeah. Even, the idea, if I was ever rich, dude, there's so many things that I would never do again. If I didn't have to drive,
Yeah.
I wouldn't drive. Also, the same idea of dude, if I never had to call in a reservation for a restaurant or set anything up for myself, dude, I'd have an assistant. How
100%.
nice would that be to have an assistant just to set up your life for you?
I wouldn't call anybody.
Yeah.
I would get a phone that didn't have a phone function.
Yeah.
I would just text my assistant.
Having someone to be like, don't forget your mom's birthday's coming up this weekend, and you're like,
Oh.
oh yeah, make sure to send her something and remind me to
Right.
call her.
To walk down your stairs, sit at your breakfast table, eat a bowl of Frosted Flakes while somebody tells you all the things you have to accomplish that day.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Because if I'm rich, I'm trying to forget the world tomorrow. That's
You
the
go
biggest.
on tour.
That's the biggest thing. I've got so much things to focus on, like my big world tour.
So forget tomorrow. Have my assistant focus on today.
Yeah. I'd have someone rolling joints for me. The
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg has that.
The Snoop Dogg treatment. You know what I would do? I look at rich people. Maybe this is just because I'm a 40-year-old man who's dealing with baldness.
Yeah.
I look at rich people with bad hair, that are going bald, and I just go, you got the money to fix this.
John Cena's got that huge bald spot on
Right.
the back of his head, and it blows my mind. It's like, dude, you're one of the richest guys in the world. How are you not dealing with that?
He's got millions of dollars. You're telling me he's not getting ads on his Instagram feed for finasteride? I don't think so.
Does that piss you off as a bald man?
It makes me very angry because it's like you've got the money to either have someone style you up with a good, nice, close, bald haircut, or you've got the money to get the best treatments in the world. You could have hair again.
There's no reason to have a DUI or be bald if you're rich.
That's what I'm saying, man.
This is the Brock and Delby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got today.
Good morning.
There he is.
Yeah, today's word. Bonomi.
Bonomi?
Yeah, Bonhomie. Bonhomie. Right. Anyways, it's good-natured friendliness. Yeah, that's awesome. I can't we all just get along? Everybody should be like that. Anyways, that's it. Have a great one. Cheers up.
I just love that Ed's word of the day calendar just kicks in a French word every now and again.
Apparently this is in the English dictionary.
Okay.
Bonhomie.
Bonhomie. He was saying it wrong. He was saying it like it was like snowman.
Yeah. Bonhomme.
So bonhomie is what it is. Cheerful friendliness. Yeah.
I like pronouncing it bonhomie.
Yeah.
Like you got a good friend.
Yeah, those are my bonhomies.
That's my bonhomie right there.
I like that. I like using it like that.
I've always considered you one of my best bonhomies. And I'll tell people that.
How do you actually say
Bonhomie.
Bonhomie.
Bonhomie?
It sounds like a medical procedure.
Yeah, I got a lobotomy.
I have to take a couple days off. I have a bonhomie coming up soon.
You know, it's supposed to be talking about someone who's like really cheerful and stuff like that, but it's like I feel like there's a lot of people that aren't bonhomie. That like you could use it like that instead of saying like that guy's a dick or something. Be like that guy's not so bonhomie.
Yeah. That guy could use a little more bonhomie in his life. It's just a little grumpy, you know what I'm saying?
That sounds like something else too.
He needs more bonhomies.
Yeah. Leafs fans at the end of this year are not very bonhomie.
No, but come September they'll be bonhomie again.
Yeah.
For the first week or so.
This is true.
They have temporary bonhomie.
Yeah.
Again, that sounds like something else. I don't know.
If you see someone that's in a bad mood, tell them to be more bonhomie today, all right?
Hey, turn on the bonhomie, all right? You're going to be fine.
You're not the best when you're not so bonhomie, you know? Bonhomie. Use it and let your bonhomies know that you think they're bonhomie as well, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.